Okay, on this review, I want to talk about a show that introduced me really into a genre that I was neglecting. And this show was kind of, it popped my cherry for that. I believe it's called Insaki. Insaki? I don't know if I'm saying that right. Regardless, it is the show's about like MMORPGs. It's where you're like doing quests with a party, and you have a party of people. You have a warrior, necromancer, wizard, whatever, and you're doing quests. Sometimes in the show, you're put into a game, and then you're stuck there, like Overlord. So the show that got me into that, because I kind of neglected that genre, but there's one show that I watched, and it broadened my horizons into this subgenre, and that show is Uncle from Another World. I believe that this is peak comedy in sake CNN. It is adult themed, which is what I kind of lean towards. It does have a really good story and it's pretty deep, but it's got probably the funniest stuff in the world, and it is criminally underrated. Like, I don't see many people at all talking about this show. It is I let's on my anime list, I think I have this at an 8. It is that good to me. The story revolves around a guy who I think he's like 9 or 20, and he is taking care of his uncle who is in a coma, and he's been in a coma since the 20-year-old was like 5, so about 17 years or so. And he's taking care of his uncle. He's in a hospital, and that's, he goes to college and work, and then he goes to the hospital to make sure his uncle's still there and hasn't woken up or anything. He doesn't really know his uncle that well because he was a kid when his uncle went into this coma and stuff like that. Well, his uncle comes out of this coma, and he comes out of the coma with some magic abilities. And then he explains to his nephew, hey, I was in this other world. I was like in my favorite video game world this whole time, and I can do all this magic, and I can do it now in the real world, apparently. And so it's all about his uncle. The show revolves around his uncle telling his nephew and his nephew's friend about all of his journeys and the fight that he had to save that world with this party that he was in. And then at the same time, his nephew is teaching his uncle about everything in the world now. And it is hilarious because the uncle doesn't understand the internet. He doesn't understand YouTube and stuff, even though he makes a YouTube channel. And then his favorite thing is like his Sega and his game on his Sega. And so his nephew's explaining, hey, they don't make that anymore. But his uncle is like, that's the best thing in the world. How can they not make it? It's hilarious, and it has my absolute favorite tropes in the freaking world, and I absolutely love that goofy, scrunchy face trope that anime does sometimes. I don't want to see a lot of anime do this trope. I've only seen a very few select anime do this thing, and I don't want to become like huge mainstream because I don't want it overdone and lose its edge to me. So there's really 3 that I've seen that really do this trope: Uncle from Another World, The Legendary Hero's Dead, and a few times on Doctor Stone, where they do this goofy face thing. Um, that is the funniest and the best thing in the world for me because, for the most part, at least in these shows that I've seen them in, it comes out of complete nowhere, and then it is just it's like perfect timing. These guys, when they're making this, they just make it perfect. Anyway, back to the review. So, Uncle in the game in the MMORPG, he has this party, and it's a pretty good. It's a really good story. It is a very good story. I'm trying not to spoil everything because I know that when you're, for me anyway, and I'm sure for you, when you're watching a review, you want like the broad horizon synopsis and then what that person would you like rate it, but you don't want it to be spoiled because you still want to be surprised and have fun with it. So I gave it an 8 out of 10. The animation is good. It's got some kind of, sometimes it's a little wonky, but for the most part, it's good. The music is great. I love the music. I watch most things dub. There's only a few things I watch sub, but they're mostly I watch dub. The dub is fine. The voice acting is great. It's really hard for me to find an anime that doesn't really have good voice acting. The only one that really comes to mind immediately is Claymore. The kid in it, oh my god, it was like nails on a chalkboard every time he opened his mouth. But anyway, um, the fighting's great. The graphics, the CG is beautiful. So yeah, it's on Netflix, which is surprising. Like I said, most of the time you're gonna find a bunch of turds on Netflix, but every now and then you'll find a diamond within the turds. So it is on Netflix. That's at least where I found it and watched it. So yeah, Uncle from Another World. It was my gateway drug into an ice Isaki. I don't know if I'm saying that right. It was my gateway drug into that genre, and from that I've watched other ones. But it's a great show. I highly recommend it. I give it an 8 out of 10. Go see it, go watch it, have fun with it. That's about it.